So what's up, everybody? This is Adwoa, and well, Adwoa, aka Diamond, and thank you for joining me for my live segment. So I don't have any viewers just yet, so I'm gonna wait maybe a minute to let people come in because I just notified everybody that I was going to be going live. So I'm trying to just wait till they get their alerts. Okay. Hope you all are doing well. I have a really juicy story for you guys today. One of these days I may just bring I'm actually in my kitchen. So one of these days I may bring my web series mural home so it can like be back here. All right, so I have one viewer. Hello viewer, how are you doing? Keep in mind you can comment to this live segment. Let me see something. What is this right here? Chat. Hold on one second. Let me try something. Okay, yeah. Tell me, viewer, tell me if you see this or not. If you do see it, just type something. So I know that I'm doing this right as far as the chat on the side, because I'm not really sure. What is this? Screen share. Control. All right. Yeah, if you can see that, let me know. And I know I can't hear you, but you can just text something. I'm going to check from my phone to see if I can actually, if I can do it, if you can't do it. Because comments shouldn't be deactivated. They should be on here. So let's see. Give me a second. I just want to make sure that if you guys, type something while I'm talking to you, that I can actually see it as well. So, let me see. Make sure that if you guys, type something while I'm talking to you, that I can actually see it as well. So, let me see. Make sure that if you guys, type something while I'm I don't think I can. All right, well, I'll do it from my phone. If you guys want to chat with me while I'm talking, I'll do it from my phone because the thing that I have over here, I can't I just sent myself a message and I can't even see it. So I won't worry about that chat. So you send me something, I'll be able to see it on my phone, okay? So, all right. So today I'm going to talk about, now the last segment that I had when I was talking to you guys, wait, give me another second. Give me one more second. Let's see. Okay. So the last segment that I had when I was talking to you guys was basically I was telling you guys when I decided that I wanted to sell drugs, right? Sell crack or whatever. So what I didn't mention in that last segment was that, remember I told you the girl that was supposed to have been my homegirl that I gave half of the drugs to, that I never saw her like again for like a week? Well, finally she comes back to school, right? So when she came back to school, she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I lost the package, this and the third. Now, keep in mind, this is after, everything had happened with the chocolate guy. After my cousin had spoken to him, after my mother had found the drugs. Pretty much I was good. I was done selling drugs, but I still was like, yo, I'm going to have to whoop her ass because what if I needed that money? You know what I'm saying? What if it had went wrong and, bitch, I trusted you to basically, we was both starting out, but you was a hustler like I was trying to be a hustler. So you just left and it's like you took the package. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, right, so we in school when I saw her and I was like, yo, you gonna get it after school. So of course, when you have friends, right, the friends are like, yo, she played you, they probably didn't say play because this was like the 90s. Yeah, this was like 80s, late 80s, early 90s. So I don't even know if we were using the word played you or not, right? But anyway, so after school, because I was like, I'm gonna beat your ass after school, talking about the girl that I gave the drugs to sell with me or whatever, right? So of course she tried to run. So it got to be after school or whatever, right? And this bitch was like, trying to run to the train station. So we caught her. When I say we, it was other girls in school that I used to hang with. So they was like, yo, get this bitch, get this bitch. People always want to see a fight, right? They always want to see a fight. So she was like, I don't want to fight you, Adwoa. I don't want to fight you, And I was like, nah, bitch. I was like, I got hit. niggas was talking about they was about to gang rape me, all because of I didn't have their money. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, nah, you about to take this ass whooping. So basically I whooped the ass. And it was so crazy because back then, the way I used to fight was if you had on a loose shirt, I would pull that shirt up over your head and then bonk, bonk, you know, just bonk you. So, you know, I was hitting this girl so hard and so much that her face like had bust open. So I was just bam, bam, you know, just punching her. So now I got all like this blood on me and shit. And I was like, yo, let me just go home. So after that, ended up not even fooling with the chick no more. You know, I was like, I'm done. You know, whoop your ass, that's that. So of course they like, yeah, you shouldn't have been hanging with that white bitch anyway. You know, you ain't our friend no more. You've been fucking with this white girl, you know what I'm saying, hanging with her. So needless to say, she got her butt whooped, okay? So that's that era. All right. That's what happened with her, because you probably was trying to figure out had I ever run into her again. And yes, I did it. I had to whoop her ass. And I never got the money or drugs back from her, which I didn't even want the drugs at this point anyway. Even if she had them, I didn't want them. But it was the fact of how you going to violate me. The crackhead ain't even still a drug. You'd have thought that when I gave the drugs to the crackhead, that the crackhead would have like jumped the fence. But he didn't even steal the drugs. Then he would bring me back money. All right, so that's that. So now I'll talk about my father moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, right? So I used to go to Charlotte a lot. So now after this era of me trying to sell drugs, now I enter the era where I wanted to date drug dealers. I'm just saying, don't judge me. This is, you know, my past life. I'm just saying. I may be 17, maybe 18. What I skipped was after, okay, so I did graduate from high school. I did graduate from graphic communication arts. I graduated in 1990. I went to college. I went to a college upstate called Coble School University. Stayed there a couple of semesters. I was done with college. I was like, college ain't for me. All right. So I go down south. Down south meaning Charlotte, North Carolina. So I went through a stage where, well, first of all, I went through a college kind of stage where I wanted to date college boys. But the only thing about dating college guys are they have no money. Like when you're in school, you're broke. You know what I'm saying? Especially if your parents had to pay for you to go to school, you either better get a job or you better do something. You better have some type of hustle. And at the time, I didn't really have a hustle. So I was just like, whatever. So I dated, you know, a guy that was in the Kappas. So dated him for a while. That was okay. He wasn't all that. His name was Bernard. He was kind of ugly cute. Like, not cute, but he could dress nice, so that made him cute. Okay. So that was getting boring. So then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I want to start dating somebody with some money. So eventually I got a job, right? And I got a job at a clothing store in this mall out there called Freedom. I want to say it was called Freedom Mall. And the clothing store was called InStyle. And InStyle was run by like some Pakistanians or something. You know, you don't want to keep calling everybody Arab, but by some Pakistanians. So they hired me, and these drug dealers used to come in there like all the time. And you know, back then drug dealers looked like drug dealers. You know, the big chains, they come in with wads of money, so you knew who had dough. But there was this one drug dealer, right? This one that I had heard that he was really, really, really big time. His name was Gene. They used to call him Gene Butterbean. So I was like, that's who I need to talk to. Gene Butterbean. That's the guy with all the dough. I need to try to deal with him, right? And keep in mind, guys, this is the era that I was going through. I was just wanting to date guys that had that fast cash so they could give it to me fast, right? So Gene would come in the store, right? But Gene wouldn't pay me any attention. And I was like, fly. I was always fly. Now, don't get it twisted. But I was like, you know, I was like, well, I can't really push myself on him because I'm quite sure girls do that. And that's not how, you know, I played my game. So I was like, well, shit, there has to be a way that he can notice me without realizing that I'm intentionally trying to get him to notice me. You get what I'm saying? So it was another girl that worked in the store with me. She was something like the assistant manager. And she had a baby by Gene's father. Now, I had heard like a lot of different stories, you know, and she looked like this little innocent chick. But so you would never think that she was about that bread. But if you got a baby by an old dude that got that money, then that means that you was about that bread. But she would never really talk about it. So Gene would come in sometime, you know, talk to her, buy a couple of things. So I was like, shit, how can I see this cat, right? So I didn't really hang out back then. Like I was trying to get into the club scene, but I wasn't really major into the club scene. Cause let's say at this point I'm like 17, 17, 18, maybe 18, 17, 18, I think. Yeah, I wasn't even in my 20s yet. Right. So I was like, there has to be a way for me to run into him. So I used to think like every day I would go to work and I would be in the mall and I'm like, shit, when is this man going to come back in the mall? Now people used to talk about him. Like, you know how people nosy, like that's how people get caught when you're doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing, because people would just constantly talk about what you're doing, probably because they want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I occasionally would talk to the little, what I call a penny ante drug dealer, like somebody had some weed, probably some coke, a little bit of coke or whatever, but I wanted the big guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if I'm gonna deal with somebody that's selling drugs, I want the big dude. So this is the beginning of this era in my life for me. Now, once I finish this segment, this may be a 6 video segment because it's crazy. Like this whole segment is bananas. Hold on, I'm gonna share this. I'm about to share this. So give me a sec, guys. I'm gonna share it on Facebook so people know I'm actually live now. Yeah, I don't think I can. All right, well, I'll do it from my phone. All right, hold on. If you guys want to chat with me while I'm talking, I'll do it from my phone. All right, there we go. So, all right. So, like I said, I was working in a store called InStyle, and I would never I saw him maybe twice. And then I'm like, well, shit, I didn't really know where he hung out. Of course, I couldn't really ask anybody because if you know somebody selling big time drugs, you can't just go up to somebody and be like, yo, you know Gene Butterbean? Do you know where he lives at? Or do you know where he hangs out at? You know, you can't do that. So it just so happened that one night, let's say this was maybe a month later. That's how long it was before I saw this cat again. It was a month later, right? Now, guys, this is no lie. Call me thirsty, call me whatever, but I was determined to get this dude. I was determined. So I remember I was at the IHOP with some friends of mine, right? And then Gene was there. Yes. He was with some of his friends, right? So I was like, oh shit. So I'm in there and, you know, I'm eating my food and I'm just trying to get his attention. I'm trying to get his attention without getting his attention. That makes sense? So I was like, shit, I gotta get this guy's attention. But remember, I'm a young girl. He's an older guy. So he probably wouldn't be paying me no mind. He probably like, this little girl, you know, and I was a slim girl. Like I didn't have the boobs that I have now because, you know, these are aborts. So I still had a nice body though. I was probably a size 5'6", I'm thinking at the time. But I was real cute. You know, always had a pretty face. Always kept my hair done because, of course, I did hair. So I was cute. I don't even remember what I had on, but I felt like I had enough going on with myself to get this man's attention. So he left, right? He left out. And I remember he walked out and he went to the right. So I was like, shit. So, of course, you know, I'm still trying to get his attention. So I'm like, damn, what could I do? Think. So I said, all right. I said, go outside. When you see his car about to pull off, just kind of get in front of his car, be in a way, bend down, tie your shoe, do something. This is me now. This is me young, thinking how am I going to get this guy's attention? So that's what I did. So I know y'all like this crazy girl, but that's what I did. I'm just saying, that's how I got his attention. So he started his car. So I'm looking, right? So I'm looking out the window. So I go to the front. I'm like, hey, y'all, I'll be back. I'll be back, you know. So I leave the table. And I walk out the door. And right when I saw him pulling off, because you can only go out one way, I started walking really slow. So he was driving slow. So then he stopped, right? So I got literally, I'm walking like this, right? This is me walking and this is his car. So I'm walking slow just enough so that by the time he reaches me, I stop. Right? So whatever. This is a story. You enjoying it. Okay, so I stopped. So I'm walking really, really slow, calling myself walking sexy or whatever, you know. So then I stopped and I leaned down like I was getting ready to pick up something. But I made sure, you know, he saw me not to hit me. Now, wouldn't that have been some shit if he would have hit me? That would have been so crazy. Like if I bent over, just boom, and he'd have hit me or something and I done broke some bones. Okay, so then when I bent down, he got out the car. Yeah. So he gets out the car. So he was like, hey, you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. I was like, how you doing? And he was like, I'm good. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, well, what's up? And he's like, what's up with you? And I was like, I'm all right. So needless to say, we exchanged pages. Right? We exchanged pages. I had a pager, he had a pager. So he gave me his pager number. Now he was driving a Corvette, cute Corvette. I was like, oh, this nigga really got that bread. So we exchanged pager numbers, right? All right. So now I have his pager number, but of course I can't sound thirsty or I can't let him know that I was really trying to, get his attention. So he didn't page me, right? He didn't page me. So I was like, shit, I didn't page him. He didn't page me. So I was like, you know what? Whatever. So at this point, I was like, okay, well, maybe it's not meant to be, but I still kept his pager, right? I still kept it. So after this, right now, this is where this story is going to start getting crazy. Catch up. Keep in mind, his name was Gene Butterbean. Just keep that in mind. All right. So that weekend, one of my friends, oh, I skipped a lot of stuff. Okay. Now, guys, at this point, I didn't go back to New York. My father was like, okay, you dropped out of college. You have to do something. So I ended up signing up for cosmetology school, right? So if anybody knows when I talk about going to school for hair, so I end up, doing that. Okay. Now, let me tell you about this part. So that weekend, I go out, right, with some friends of mine. I think I went out with Nene and Jazz. I think that's who I went out with that weekend. But anyway, so we go out to a little club. But keep in mind, I wasn't really like a club person. Wasn't really like a major club person, but we went out. Let's think. Well, how old was I? I didn't have any kids yet. Yeah, okay. So we go to some little hole in the wall, right? Some little hole in the wall. So I meet this guy named Malcolm. No, I've skipped a lot of stuff. Malcolm, let me just move forward because I know you guys just want to hear the interesting stuff. I met this guy named Malcolm. Malcolm sold drugs. Keep in mind now, I was at the era where I wanted to be with a drug dealer. Why? Because they had fast money. I was about that bread. So I started dealing with Malcolm, right? Malcolm basically used to sell for this guy. We're going to call him Rich. Let's call the guy Rich. I'll come back to the Gene Butterbean story in a minute, but I'm just trying to get you some names so you can know where I'm going with this. Okay. So Malcolm let's just say Malcolm sold for a guy named Rich, right? At this point, I'm in cosmetology school. I move out of my father's house and I get an apartment of my own. So now I have an apartment of my own. I'm just kind of skipping ahead, okay? I'm kind of skipping ahead like a lot, so just keep up with me. Some of the stuff that I feel like is not that interesting, I'm not even going to talk about it. So Malcolm was selling drugs for Rich, right? Malcolm used to take a lot of trips to California because that's where they used to get the drugs from, right? So he would take a lot of trips to California, and I had my 2-bedroom apartment. I thought I was real cute. Now I've skipped a lot of stuff. So at this point now I have a child, not by anybody that any of you guys knew, but I had a child at this point. So let's just say this is some years later. I know I'm skipping around. So I'm in my 20s now, like 2021. So I know I skipped around a lot of stuff. Just keep in mind about the Gene Butterbean. Remember now, I had his pager. He never paged me. I never paged him. I said, I'll talk to him when it's time for me to talk to him. So I don't know if he lost my number, but I never ran into him again. At this point, I done moved on. Just keep that in mind. I'm not working at InStyle anymore because now I'm dating a guy that can give me that bread. I'm dating Malcolm. Malcolm had that money. I didn't have to work. Only thing I did was went to school. He gave me money every day, you know what I'm saying, to do what I want to do. So now I'm like what you call a kept young lady or whatever, right? So keep in mind I had a son. So my son would go to New York a lot of times with my mother because, all my family was still in New York. So he would go up there a lot of times with them. Okay. So hold on a second. All right. So with talking to Malcolm, he was kind of jealous. Like, he was originally from California, but he was kind of like jealous or whatever. So, you know, I would be talking to him. I would go shopping. I was probably shopping damn near like every day when I was fucking with him because he had that bread. You know what I'm saying? But he was jealous. So when he would leave, now this is where it gets funky. I'm just saying, when Malcolm would leave to go out of town, he would ask his homeboy, remember I told you we're going to call him Rich. He would say to Rich, you know, watch out for her, you know, make sure nobody comes over there, you know, look out for her. So basically almost like leaving me with a damn babysitter, like a grown ass man that was a babysitter. Like, come on now, you know. So at this time, I did not know how to drive because all the time that I lived in New York, I caught the cab or the train or the bus. So I never really had to worry about, you know, driving. And then I was, you know, I was messing with cats that had cars, so I didn't have to worry about driving, right? Okay. So Malcolm started going out of town a lot. You get what I'm saying? He would go to California a lot, a whole lot. So what did that mean? That meant that every time he went to California, Rich was left with me. Now, me and Rich did not live together. So when I say he was left with me, it was like Rich was the big dude. You know what I'm saying? He was the big guy. And remember, at this time, I'm going through my drug dealer stage where only thing that I want to deal with is what? Drug dealers. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Them niggas was getting that bread back then, and I wanted a part of it without me having to sell drugs. That's my past life. Don't judge me. Okay. So anyway, it got to the point where Malcolm was leaving Rich with me so much, like he like, man, make sure she good. So he would leave for like a couple of days, maybe to a week sometime, because he was taking a train. He was taking a train to California, you know, to get whatever he had to get as far as whatever he was selling at the time to get that weight. So it just got to the point that, you know, you over here with me, what's up? You get what I'm saying? I'm like looking at Rich like, so what's up? You know, so needless to say, me and Rich start talking. I know y'all calling me trifling, right? But you know what? I was young. I was about that. I was about them dollars, them fast dollars. And I was not married. So remember, I told you guys I wanted the big guy. When I first met Malcolm, I didn't know what Malcolm did. I met him in a club. I didn't know that he sold drugs. That happened. So, and why the hell did you even bring the big guy around me like that? Like, I blame him for that. Why you even brought that nigga around me? Like, okay, y'all probably like, bitch, you was trifling, whatever. Well, whatever. Say what you want. But, so I started talking to him, right? I started talking to Rich. So me and Rich started getting like really, really close. And when I say talking to him, of course, I was eventually started sleeping with him and everything. So it got to the point. Now, this is crazy. Remember I told you guys that Malcolm was really, really jealous? Well, Malcolm was so jealous that when he would come in, and this is like, I used to hear girls say this, but I never actually had to experience a guy that actually did stuff like this. So he would come in, how was you sniffing like my panties and my underclothes and all that? Like, who does that? But that's how jealous he was. And I'm like, okay, what are you looking for? Because if I did anything, don't you think I would have on fresh panties and I would have took a shower? You know, crazy, right? So needless to say, it got to the point that Rich started sending Malcolm out of town intentionally just so we could spend more time together. Yeah. But I'm gonna come one better for you. Because of the fact that he knew how jealous Malcolm was, when I would go shopping, because keep in mind what I haven't told you guys, that now at this point, Rich is giving me money too. So I'm getting money from Malcolm. I'm getting money from Rich. So, you know, I'm not working. I don't have to work. The only thing I'm doing is going to cosmetology school looking like I'm the good girl, you know, trying to get this hair license so I can have a career for myself once I stop fooling with these damn drug dealers. So it got to the point that Rich was like, I know how jealous Malcolm is. So what I want you to do is whenever you go shopping, buy 2 of everything. And I was like, what do you mean buy 2 of everything? He's like, whatever outfit you buy 2. Whatever perfume you buy 2. Whatever panties, whatever bra panty set you buy 2. Whatever shoes you buy 2. Everything that you buy 2 of them. And I was like, why am I buying 2 of them? He said, because you're going to leave one at home, one set of everything at home, and you're going to leave the other one at my crib. He said, so that way when you come over, if your clothes get messed up, if your underclothes get messed up, if you take a shower and you don't smell the same, you'll have the same exact thing over here. So when you go home, Malcolm, I have no idea that you've been with me. So I was like, well, damn. But that's how serious it was, guys. That's how serious it had gotten. So when I would go shopping, I would make sure that Malcolm didn't take me shopping. I would make, I'll call one of my homegirls that had a car, and they would take me shopping. And right then and there, right with like the second set, I would meet up with Al. I would meet up with, I would meet up with Rich. I would meet up with Rich, and Rich would, basically Rich would, take the clothes to his house or whatever. Whatever I had bought, soap, I wasn't really wearing a lot of makeup back then, so I had to worry about the lip gloss and all that. So it was like soaps, it was like perfumes, body wash, body spray, clothing, Victoria's Secret's 2 sets, everything. So I would meet up with him. So he would have it. So then boom, he would take it to a spot. Now, one thing that I didn't tell you guys, hold on. I just got a text. Don't worry about that. Hold on. Okay. One thing that I didn't tell you guys was that Rich had a girlfriend. Yeah. Rich lived with his girlfriend, but he had a crib that she didn't know about. You know what I'm saying? So Rich had a girlfriend. He had a crib that she didn't know about. So that's where I used to hang out with him at. Just keep in mind, Malcolm did know where that crib was, which is why I would make sure that, Malcolm was far out of town whenever I would be with Rich. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time he'd be in California, somewhere where he done took him, sent them somewhere far so we could be together. So remember now, the last thing I said was, I went shopping. Every time I went shopping, he was like, buy 2 of everything. Remember, I was getting money from Malcolm and I was getting money from Rich too. So I had enough of money to buy whatever. I'm just in cosmetology school, just doing my thing. I didn't have to worry about a job. I was getting that bread. I think at the time my father was paying my rent at my apartment, which it wasn't even like I had a townhouse. It wasn't like the rent wasn't even expensive. It was like my first spot. It was cheap because it was kind of like in the hood. Like it was nice where my complex was, but like maybe streets over, that was the hood. I did not care. I'm from New York. So I grew up in the hood, so that didn't really matter to me. So, all right. So this is what would happen. This is what would happen. Basically, when I would go to Rich house, and sometime he would come and get me, or a lot of times I would catch a cab because, neighbors are pretty nosy. But if he did pick me up and maybe a neighbor might have said something to Malcolm, only thing I had to say was, well, he came to take me shopping. You wasn't here. You told him to look out for me. So he came through to make sure I was straight. You get what I'm saying? So this is what would happen. Because remember, I had 2 sets of everything. When I would go to Rich house, right? Even if we just went out to eat, whatever, whatever excuse that I done told Malcolm, is like, all right, let's just say me and Rich slept together. Then that means that, change your underclothes. But remember, whatever I had on under my clothes, I had a second set at his house. Same deodorant, same soap. So I just had to remember, okay, what did you put on today? What did you wash up with? That, cause yeah, I know it sounds crazy. It sounds like it's a lot to keep up with, but at the time, that's what I was doing. That's what I was doing to try to keep up with this madness I had going on with dating these 2 friends that was, dope dealers. One was selling for the other. One was the big man. One was the little man, medium man. The medium man, which the little man was Malcolm, who I was dealing with. Rich was the big guy that he worked for. So, of course, I wanted Rich, but couldn't get rid of Malcolm because Malcolm was real jealous and he wasn't going anywhere. So, like I said, so I would take off, if we had sex or whatever, I would take off, I would just leave that set of underclothes there and put on the fresh pair. And, of course, he would wash it. Now, keep in mind, he had to wash my clothes in the same detergent that I used at home. Yeah, it was a lot to keep up with, but it worked out. So I mean, in the end, this story got funky. Like, I already know you guys are probably in your mind figuring out where this is going, because of course we couldn't keep this up forever. Here it is. He's hanging, you know, with my boyfriend, but he's dealing with me on a low. You know, my boyfriend at the time was selling for him, but he's dealing with his boy, you know, his homeboy's girl. So at this point, right, when he would come over, so of course, Malcolm didn't stay out of town forever. So when he would come over, you know, when Rich would come over, I had to, like, you know, and I could have just been with him. I could have, like, you know, been at his house the day before. So when he would come over, you know, I had to be all just cordial, but not too comfortable. It was just like, oh, what's up, Rich? You know, and then go upstairs or whatever, you know, just to get out their face. But I don't know how I kept that charade up for as long as I did, but I did. So I'm going to end this segment. Just keep in mind that this is a segment about me dating two friends, basically. I was dealing with one guy. When I met the guy that he worked for, I wanted him. That's the type of chick I was back then. I wanted the dude that had all the money. Why stay with the worker when I can have the boss? Okay. Keep in mind, I told you guys about the guy, Gene Butterbean. Remember? I told you guys about him and how I met him, and then we exchanged pager numbers, and then we never saw each other again. Well, eventually I did see him. I saw him again eventually, but this was after a kidnapping had occurred. Yeah, after a kidnapping had occurred, and the person that got kidnapped was me. So, if you have any comments about this segment, leave them, and I will finish up this story either today or tomorrow. All right. So just keep in mind the names that we're talking about is Gene Butterbean, is Malcolm, and also Rich. All right. So thank you guys for following. I hope you guys are subscribed to this channel. If you have not seen my web series, my Moneyisourgoal web series, make sure you check it out. Thumbs up this video. If you have any questions, any comments, anything about anything that I've talked about today, leave it in the comments and I will definitely come back and reply to you. So remember, when I resume with this segment, I will tell you guys what happened and how I was kidnapped. Okay, bye.